This is day 6, part 2, with Shadow. We're just starting out. Make sure she's in a bend, and ask her to walk off in a bend. You can see we have a little bit more free movement. She's a little bit slower today versus yesterday, and a little bit faster than she was the first day we rode her. You know, she's starting to loosen up a little bit. She may be getting a little tired. We got to remember, she hasn't been ridden before, so we're using a whole new set of muscles. And I really want to be careful, those new muscles. So we may not ride very long today. So now we're just working some circles. I'm asking her, keeping my shoulder up, asking her to move that rear end over a couple steps, and then walking on. Ask her to move that rear end over a couple steps, like right there, and walking on. Just asking for a couple steps, just kind of letting her feel me. Changing bends. You can see that's getting a lot better. There's still a catch. Remember, it's going from left brain to right brain. So that's when they're probably the most confused. So when we change direction, that we can also call that kind of a transition. One direction to the other bend. And you can see she's a lot different on one side versus the other. And we saw this on the ground. One side's a lot different than the other side. And that's going to be every horse. That's not just going to be her. Every horse, favors one side. Just like us. If I gave somebody who's right-handed and told them 50 pieces of paper, write with your right hand on half of them and write with your left hand, and then left the room. Some honest people would really try to do half and half. Otherwise, a lot of people would do everything right-handed because it's easier. Same thing with the horse. One side's a lot easier than the other. You can see she's leaking out of her shoulders just a little bit, but I'm not pulling harder. That's not what's going to fix it. It's me going forward. See, when I asked her to really go forward and forward from behind, she turned beautifully. When she gets slow and kind of backs off the bridle and just falls on her forehand, that's when she's going to, leak out that shoulder. So I really want to say, hey, go forward. Keep that nice soft touch on the rein. Not a hard touch. Just a nice soft touch, and then ride her forward into it. And there she turns. And there she turns. And you can see her hit it, and then come off of it. And then hit it, and then come off of it. She runs into the bridle. I don't take the bridle to her. I don't try anyway to take the bridle to her. And see her, she changes bend. Had a little stop there. That's okay. I'm just going to ask her to walk forward. It's really my body that I'm doing to turn with her. This is, be it a horse that I'm just starting or an older horse, we always turn with our bodies. We don't try to do it with our hands, because the more balanced we are, the better the horse is going to stay balanced, and the less likely of an accident. Horses when they get out of balance is when that we have a lot of issues, when they start falling on their shoulders, they start pulling from the front end. If I just stay balanced as I can, they're going to be able to understand what we're doing a lot easier versus me having to do a whole bunch of stuff. So a lot of it, like today, we're not going to do a lot, we're going to ride, but we're not going to do a lot. This ride is basically, I'm trying to think of my body position. If you see, I don't lean. I don't try to pull. I turn my seat. I turn my body. And ask her to follow. And you see, I don't ride on the rail. I do a lot of turning, and I do a lot of, a lot of turning, a lot without the rail. Ask her to halt. I halt. She halts. I really want her to, you can see her licking and chewing right there. I really want her to, she's following me. So that way when, she's already starting out right now, I'm saying, hey, just go with me. That way when we go out with another horse, hopefully she'll follow me, because that's the only thing she's ever been taught. what we've done, we've always done together. So she's kind of getting understanding. Now when I ask her to walk off again, I'm in a bend right now. As with my lower calves, I try to make sure I ask her to walk from behind, because I really want to keep that up, because that is what's going to help her gait eventually. I'm not worried about it right now, but I'm not going to try to discourage it. I'm just going to let nature do what nature does. You know, if she's bred to gait, she'll gait. If she doesn't, it's no big deal. If she's not as well bred to gait, she'll eventually gait because it's in her heritage. You know, some horses take a little longer, some horses don't. Majority of the horses that we start, though, if they're balanced, or as they get used to a rider and stay balanced, you know, learn how to carry a rider, almost every single one just gaits. We don't have to do anything special. You can see, you know, when I want to do this turn, you know, I don't have the rail there. I have the camera to turn us. It's not me pulling on her face. It's me riding her forward and asking that rear end to push the front end. And again, this is what's going to help us with gait. This is what's going to help us with turning, you know, anything I do to get her forward. Now, you see when I say forward, she's just walking stronger forward, or, you know, I might ask her for a transition here and there. You know, it's not forward as in flying forward, as in we're running around. It's forward in her brain. It's like doing power walking, or I think of it as kind of like power walking. You know, you're not necessarily going super fast, but you are pushing off the ground and you're going forward. And you can see when she goes a little faster, you know, I'm not going to the other end of the arena. I'm not using the whole arena because of the camera. You can see where we can do circles anywhere. She doesn't have to follow the rail. And there she's just gaiting along. She has her head down. I'm not going to worry about that right now. You know, she hasn't been ridden that much, so she's finding where she's comfortable. I'm betting later on she'll lift that head up a little bit. Right now she wants it down. You know, I'm going to let her get comfortable before and more trained before I do anything else. I really want her to get comfortable carrying her head wherever she feels it needs to be. You know, and eventually I'm never really going to change it. She's going to put it just where she's comfortable. But she's done really good. You know, that transition was very nice. She gaited nice. I'm just asking her to give to one side, just to kind of soften, because she's a little bit bracy right here. She wants to stand in the center and kind of brace up, just even while we're standing here. So we're just going to stand for just a second.